My daughter brought me a paper, not just a paper, but an A paper. In fact, now that it's just past Thanksgiving, I guess it's end of the trimester for elementary and middle school, and I got all my kids' grades, and I am just pleased and stunned. Um, when I was hanging out in um, what's that city in Utah? Salt Lake? No, it wasn't Salt Lake. It was Boise, Idaho. Boise, Idaho, in the winter of 2003, maybe it was 2004, the winter of 2004. I was in Boise, Idaho, and that's when I had met my business partner Paul. And there was another guy that was also a business partner that I was introduced to. Unfortunately, I didn't have any connections in the shipping business, so I couldn't help him out. But we sat down at a bar at the Marriott in Boise, and I think Michael Jackson was in the news. This was, I think, the time that he held the baby out of the window. And so we're just shooting the breeze, having some drinks, and the conversation turns to our kids. And he tells me, he says, you know, you just keep on them when they're young, and sometime around high school they'll figure it out. They'll just kind of snap to it, and they'll realize that they are the good kids, and they've been the good kids for so long, and they'll see their peers around them not doing the right things, and then they'll start getting the grades for themselves. So it'll be somewhere around high school, and then they'll just snap into place. So my son, I get a phone call from Mr. Price 2 weeks ago, and it's about 8:30 in the evening, and I'm like, who's calling? But it didn't say no caller ID on my phone, and whenever there's no caller ID, I just don't answer it. I don't know. I put the weird ring, I would put a ring of a song that I just don't like when it's caller ID, like My Humps or something like that. I hate that song. I just hate that song. But I just make it do the electronic phone ring, like the old Roam. Remember the old Roam IBM phones when IBM was in the phone business? They go like that. So that's the ring I have on my Trio for no caller ID. But there was actually a phone number that came through, and it was kind of local, so I picked it up. And it's Mr. Price, and I'm like, who's this? It's his language arts teacher. And I'm a language arts. Don't they teach English anymore? But they do. And actually, we got teachers in the middle school that go over grammar, because our kids were having trouble with the sentence. You know how you do sentence diagrams? Remember those? They're like Ishikawa fishbone diagrams of sentences, where there's the gerund and the participles and the what is it, around the beehive, the prepositional phrases and those kinds of things, and you could diagram it and say, this is a prepositional phrase, this is the preposition, and they don't do that anymore. They don't even have grammar books. I mean, you could look at A Libris and try to find the ones that were out there when you were a kid, and maybe you'll find them, but in most of the public schools they're not teaching hardball grammar, and that's why kids saying anyway, or and the sentences just ramble on, and by the time they're in high school they're just writing fragments and fragments and fragments. But fortunately we had some pretty good teachers here, and I'll let them call it language arts as long as the kids learn how to speak English. And so Mr. Price calls me and he says, I just called you to tell you that he's a wonderful student. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then he goes on, he says, so he has excellent work habits, and I'm the first class he has in the morning, and he's always on time, and if he shows this dedication in my class, then you're going to see a very good report card. And I'm giving it an A, and this is astonishing, because Chris he's kind of the strong silent type, and I'm saying, wow, well, that was a great phone call. And 10 minutes late, the spousal unit asked me, "Well, who was calling you on the phone?" "Oh, it's Mr. Price from the middle school, and he said, boys got a good grade." And so I'm just astonished. It's great, and it turns out that he got a 3.86 or something like. I mean, I know it's crazy and retarded that kids get GPAs when they're just in the 7th grade, but maybe he's snapping to it. Maybe he's recognizing that. And matter of fact, just today he made first class. So he's now first class. He's been in the Scouts for about 15 months, and so now he is now first class. And it's crazy because the last court of honor that we had. I'm just going on and on about my kids, of course. You got to. But here's the thing. So you got to do this when your kids bring home an A. Then you make it a habit. It's very cool because I'm sitting at my desk, and it's like the boss. And they come in and they show me their work, and they tell me what they're working on, but they're presenting. I mean, the wife, the spousal unit, she's the one that just gets on them. Do your homework. Do your homework. Do your homework. And they have to be out there on the kitchen table and they're doing their homework. But in the end, when they have something to show, they bring it to me. So I'm the manager. I'm the one that doles out the rewards. And so I keep an account of all of their grades, and every one I give them a virtual dollar. And the virtual dollar, doesn't come true at Christmas. This is a fund. And so just the way that I manage it, they know that they have it. And I put a graph up on the wall so they can chart their progress. And it's interesting because the youngest, F9, she's going to get more of these because she's the one. She's bringing all these A's home. There's here's an A plus. A plus is supposed to be $2. So that's going to bankrupt me before they even actually get into college. So, but do that, and get the work already corrected so that you don't have to go through it. Because it's like that Tom Lehrer song with the new math. It does no bit of good for you to review math. It's so simple. Anyway, so just keep on the kids and have a routine where they are presenting their work to you. And even if it's bad, you gotta let them handle the bad news, and maybe they'll promise something, maybe they won't, but at least they're in the habit of delivering the work, and tell them to put their name on it. And I don't know why Boyd didn't want to put his name on his papers. He had that problem for the longest time. Anyway, it's a good idea, and it works out, and that's all I have to say about that. This is Michael David Kyle Bowen. Peace.